All right, what's up, everybody? So today I'm going to be talking about some landscape photography tips. And basically what I've done is uploaded a bunch of shots, some that I like, most that I like, some that I don't like or didn't turn out, and we're kind of just going to walk through and edit them together. They're in chronological order, so my shooting and settings and everything gets better as I go on. Not all of these are great, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of take you guys through my process and show you the shooting. So this is a shot that I was on a ride with some buddies in Moab back in, tell me, yeah, it was like March. And you can see my settings are not that great. But I try to get this shot for like a long time, both of the riders going up and downhill, and it kind of didn't work out either way. I think just the angle was weird, but I want to play with it a little bit, see what we can do with it. So I think out of all of these that I'm looking through, it's really funky there. I like either this one or that one, even though he's not that in focus in that one. Why don't we go with this one? I should ask you guys for opinions right now. Let's go with this one and edit it. So I'm going to take these guys and delete them from the album. Usually when I get an album of pictures, I'll kind of do that. I'll just like go to one that I like and then continue editing through. Lightroom is being very slow though. Oh, come on, Lightroom, do your thing. Don't. For now. Okay, cool. So let's go here, and then let's start with a crop, just because the framing looks a little weird, and I kind of want him to be like on this third line here, and then maybe this skyline to be here as well. So let's bring it in and see what we can do. I'm sure you guys have heard of the rule of thirds. You guys are all great artists, but basically, yeah, you're trying to have your subject on one of these third lines as opposed to being in one of the boxes. And that kind of leads your eyes as well, which is really nice. So I'm trying to do a lot of like, I guess, line work and eye leading, which you'll see in some of the shots later. But yeah, maybe if we're trying to make the best out of a photo that's not that great, which is what we're trying to do right now, maybe we'll just put them right on the line there and move this up a little bit, actually. Yeah, and then this will go out of frame, which kind of makes that look nicer, except we have this bush in front. So maybe I will keep them like there. Oh, did that do what I wanted it to? There you go. Then we'll do a little bit of lighting. I'm sure you guys know about lighting edits and whatnot, but I'm just going to start playing with stuff a little bit. See where we can wind up. I'm going to do one of those. As much as I hate to cheat to start, texture and clarity are really, really great tools if you don't use them. I mean, you can see, like, if I bump that up, it looks very dramatic and, like, over dramatic. Take it down, it looks bad. Texture, similar effect, they go well together. So you can see just by doing those two things and taking the blacks down a little bit, we've got like a way more dramatic photo here, which is nice. Like I said, my settings, I was at ISO 1000. I didn't really learn to start shooting with ISO until, I guess, like a little bit later than this after year. Or, that wasn't English. A little bit later than this last year. But yeah, I didn't really learn to take down my ISO until then. I was shooting with really high ISO, and it was making things grainy. Like you can see, his face has this grain on it, or this kind of film, I guess, that looks pretty nasty. So you want to be shooting like as low ISO as possible, like 1 to 200 if you can, which surprised me at first because I was obviously shooting in the thousands. But you'll see in later photos, it's really worth it. So say we just do that. Quick edits, quick edits. Maybe a little bit of that. I'm gonna bring this in actually. I don't like that bush that's in front, even if it frames them a little differently. No, I don't like that framing as much. Framing's tricky, kids. I like the way that looks. We're gonna stick with that. Okay, so there you go. So that's about as best we are gonna get with this photo, and that's why I kind of never really like published this photo. But after all those attempts and stuff, yeah, let me actually copy the edits from here, paste them over here. Yeah, these pictures are fine. But yeah, sometimes you take a picture a lot of times and the frame just isn't as great. Here's the same thing where I took a landscape photo and then turned it into a vertical. And if I paste those edits, I'm sure it'll get nice. For the time being, at least. Vertical photos are a lot of fun, and I think you guys should do them more, especially even though like landscape is typically imagined as side to side. There's definitely good power in like a good vertical photo. For the sake of time, I'm going to skip over these ones, and I'm going to go to this one, which is an already edited photo, but a photo that I really like. It is one picture. It's not a stitch. Let's check my settings. This is June of last year, ISO 2500. Still running at night. 15 seconds exposure, f4, using my macro lens. So yeah, astrophotography is something that I like to do a lot. Obviously, you got to bump your ISO really high if you're trying to get like this background and everything. And it does. This is a super fuzzy picture, but I think that from afar it looks nice. And that's kind of the best I could do without a faster lens. I only have that f4. Let's see my. This was my original. These are my edits. Let's see what I did for editing. Yeah, bump the whites. Yeah, there you go. You guys get the gist of this one. Oop, my bad. As far as the framing goes, you can see that the car is basically like right at this bottom line. This skyline is kind of near the top line. The bike is right centered around this little axis here. Everything kind of lines up, which is really nice. So that rule of thirds is like, you can't get steered wrong, even though it seems really simple. But yeah, how long? Yeah, so like I said, that rule of thirds can't steer you wrong. But what else about this picture? Not too much. I clicked the hazards on my car at the time, um, just during that 15-second interval, and it ended up looking nice. So yeah, I'm gonna move on. These are some fun pictures that are lined up well and all. I'm gonna move on to some more photos that I struggled with. So this was a shot that I was trying to get, and I guess I was just like out messing around on NCAR one night. And yeah, I was trying to kind of get a shot like this, but it was tricky, and I couldn't really get the framing right. So maybe we'll see what we can do with it real quick. Make the flat irons look higher, except I like the road going that way. Maybe we'll try that. See, it doesn't look right because the car is sitting in the center. So maybe that open frame is the best that we can do. Yeah, it kind of leads your eye from like one side to the other a little better. So I'm gonna stick with that and paste some cheap edits on there. Toning down. Use like a white balance. Actually, that looked okay. I don't know if that looking too crazy. Highlights. Get this down. That looks nice. Something's fuzzy over here. The whole photo's fuzzy. Let me check my settings. ISO was only 320, 1/10 of a second, obviously, so maybe a little bit of fuzz. But yeah, for a frame that's tricky, sometimes you can go in and mess around and throw some edits on. Trust your eye when you're out there too. This road goes all the way around, and then you can kind of see Broadway going up back there, which is nice. So sometimes your eye will capture that flow as best you can. I'm gonna skip forward to this photo, which I really like. I took it in El Dorado Canyon back in September or so. Yeah, ISO 100, 1/1000th of a second. So it's nice and light out. F5.6, that's the best my 300mm lens can do. But did I crop it at all? No, I didn't. It's basically just a zoomed in detailed photo, but if you're trying to go for like kind of both of these, if you're trying to go for that texture, obviously Adobe sets you up with a texture setting that, as you can tell, I kind of cheated and bumped, but it's a great one to use, and it's very, very handy for detailed work like this, where you're trying to get like, you know, the icicles and kind of the drama. Here's the original photo. Excuse me. Um, as you can tell, the sky's actually like blue, not like that white haze that looks like it's coming over. Um, and I did a lens correction, so you can see that the image kind of moves out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, with all these edits, I guess it helps. The dehaze tool was really nice because you can see it like if I'm all the way over here, you can't see anything. I'm all the way over here, it's very like Instagram dramatic. And if it's somewhere in the middle, it kind of clears out the whites. It basically takes down the whites is what it does. And that's the same thing that I did over here. You know, you can tell like if dehaze is at 0, it looks a little overblown. And if you bring it back up to where it was, it looks nicer. And you get this, like here, everything looks blown out. With dehaze, you get these nice lines from the clouds. As far as framing on photos like these, there's nothing too special. I mean, you can see it's kind of, it's basically lined up pretty simply. Same with over here. I like using the right corner of my eye. I don't know why. But yeah, these are pretty simple with just like a lot of boosted edits that I feel bad about. But at the same time, they turned out nice. So if you're trying to go for like wide, vast landscape pictures, then don't be afraid. So this picture here, actually, I specifically remember last year, Cooper, you said that you really liked this picture. And I actually didn't like this picture that much. I just thought it was kind of like, it was framed a little boring. The light's a little boring. It's a little fuzzy out here. I wasn't too much of a fan of it. If you're open for comments, I would love to hear why you liked it so much. I know that there's this little frame underneath of like the houses in the foreground, and that creates a lot of distance coming through here, which is nice. I did take this on my long lens, so I had it at 200mm. A lot of times if you're trying to do landscape photos, don't be afraid of the long lens. That's what I would say. There's the original, very hazy. But yeah, don't be afraid of the long lens because you can get like this kind of foreground underneath here. And you can get that depth that you want, which is nice, even though you're not going to get like as vast of a picture as this, because this was clearly taken, yeah, this was taken on my 70. ISO 100, 1/800 seconds. So this was one of my first times shooting with lower ISO, and you can see that the detail comes out a lot nicer. But I feel like I could do something a little bit better with this one. Maybe if I were to, I want it to be higher up, so maybe if I take out this section back here, sure, let's just give that a go. That looks nice, I suppose. Maybe we go there. You get the foreground better, which is nice. So I struggled looking left from the same angle. I struggled to get this shot. This one is in horizontal, obviously, and this one's in vertical. And like I was saying, there's some power in a good vertical photo. But it was difficult for me to decide like which one I wanted to. Because here you have this trail that kind of leads you into the canyon a little nicer. And here that trail kind of fades out. But there's something about the vertical where like you have these layers, right? So you have like the layer of the sky, the layer here, and the layer here. And you don't get that as much in the horizontal. I wish I had more advice for you guys, but I would say just like the more you're playing around with it, the better. This is another great example of like, here's the horizontal shot and here's the vertical shot. And I think that the vertical shot worked out way better here just because same with that photo that Cooper liked. I mean, this is also a long lens, zoomed in more, but you're getting that little bit of foreground. And that little bit of foreground is really important to throw into your photos, even if it's just like a light post over here or something that I wish I had. That can be really key. So you're getting a little bit of foreground that's like this dirt. Same with here. This photo is tricky, but you get the cars in front a little bit to draw your eye to. This photo I really like, just because your eye is entirely drawn like into this one area, even though there's nothing really going on there. This was a weird photo for me actually because the car is centered, like dead centered, which is not something I typically do. And this is my roommate Alec. Alec's like way off to the left. The car is dead centered. This focus area, like there's kind of nothing going on. But I think something about the way that it works, that everything is kind of like blasting out of this area right here, coming forward, looked really nice. And this is just another photo I took when I was just playing around with like line work and stuff out there. This is just north of Boulder. You guys should go check it out. It's a really good place to, yeah, like practice your landscape photography, work with leading lines. Another vertical photo that I liked. This puppy's adorable. But yeah, leading lines are a big part of my photography. And that's something that like in these earlier photos, like this is a pretty basic photo. You've got some leading lines here. The rest of those are pretty basic, whereas like, yeah, like a photo like this has a lot of leading lines. And so you're trying to draw the viewer's eye into one spot. So yeah, like I said, these dirt roads north of Boulder, if you're trying to practice, are a really great spot because you can kind of just post up wherever you want and follow the roads as they go down. These are the left-hand fires. I was trying to get this ominousness, I guess, this dark cloud up here, and I was trying to figure out the best way to do that. And I like the people looking at it, but I do like this photo, I think, a little better just because it's got the foreground right there. So yeah, I probably don't have time to go through the rest of these, but you can kind of see in all of these photos, like I'm trying to capture the same thing. So I'm trying to capture this fire up here, and I'm trying to capture like, I guess the, oh, come on Lightroom. I guess like the depth of this cloud, you know what I mean? I'm trying to capture like how engulfing that was. And so I played around and tried to do that a couple different ways. There is no right answer. That's what's nice about landscape photography. Like go shoot, and just load up your memory card and get back and then edit through then. I would say for this one, I like that the sun is right behind the post. You've got the leading lines. It's the same road as earlier actually. And then you've got the cloud. You kind of have this like split world in the middle. So yeah, that's about all the time I have. Sorry if my advice is not the best, but yeah, when you're taking landscape photos, remember they can be done with a long lens, they can be done with a short lens. They can be done close up, they can be done far, you know, like I would consider this a landscape photo, and I would consider this a landscape photo. You know what I mean? Like any nature photo is a good one. So yeah, just bring your cameras out and do the best you can, and keep playing around and don't stop. Thanks, guys.